Hello everyone, my name's Gill Fountain and I work for 38 Partnership. I am a brand marketing and visibility company. That's what I work for. We help clients to increase their visibility. We work with bespoke websites, we train them, we teach them, we show them how to do anything and everything to do with marketing and increasing the number of people seeing their business to enable them to get clients easier. Now, I'm going to be talking today about why our clients walk. Now, let me just see this. So, clients walk with their feet. This is what I've put. Clients walk with their feet. I've done it. I absolutely have it. I actually did it yesterday as I was walking out the shop in a very calm manner. I thought, oh no, this actually proves exactly what my talk is about today. You've done it, we've all done it. So not only do we have our clients that walk away from us, and we may never know the reason. We may never get told the real reason. But we also do it ourselves. Not only to, we do it to shops, we do it to whatever services it is. Now, the one that happened yesterday was quite, I am going to go back, absolutely. But it was a silly mistake. And I went to get my hair cut, had my hair cut off, and I'd paid a deposit. And when it came to the bill, they charged me and they handed me my receipt. And my receipt came to much more than what I was expecting. And they'd said to me a couple of days beforehand to confirm the appointment, and I had paid a deposit. And what they gave me was just the chitty at the end with the total money that they'd taken out of my credit card. And like I say, it came to more than I expected. So I had said to them previously, I'll make another appointment. And they ran it through the till and they gave me the receipt. And I looked at the receipt and they said, would you like to now make another appointment? And I said, no, I think I'll leave it. Thank you. I'll call back in a few weeks' time. And my hairdresser was stood beside the cashier and she sort of looked at me and then looked at the cashier. And I said, thanks very much. I'm very pleased with my hair. I'll see you in whatever many weeks' time. And I said goodbye, my goodbyes. And that was it. It took them 4 minutes before my phone rang. Mrs. Fountain, we are so sorry. We've made a mistake on your bill. We are so sorry. If you're in town still, would you please come back in? But if you can't come back in, please do give us a ring and we'll refund your credit card. It was enough, a glance. My hairdresser was stood and she knows me a little bit, not that well, but she knows me a little bit to know that there was something wrong, but I wasn't prepared to say anything. I just thought, I'm not in the mood to question this. I'll go away and I'll think about it. But she was quick and she said to the cashier, what happened? She was going to, she was booking and now she wasn't booking. Was there something wrong with the transaction? And they noticed immediately what was wrong. And I went back into the shop and they could not apologise enough. And I was fine because they'd rectified the mistake within minutes. I mean, literally within minutes, and were very apologetic. Now, there have been times over the years, I've been in business for 30 years. There have been times where we have made mistakes and there have been times where we've walked away from agreements or jobs that we were going to either do or have received information for. The one that shocked me the most was one that actually did really upset me, and that was because I found out I'd got to know other people in the group. This is going back quite a few years now, and I was paying my monthly fee, but I wasn't really getting a lot out of it. And there wasn't much interaction, not as much as I'd been led to believe within the group. And I got to know a couple of people in the group, and it transpired that they started making little hints about things. And I thought, there's something not quite right here, and I can't get my head around it. And after a while, quite a few months in actual fact, one of them said to me, I don't know how much you're paying for this, but we're not paying anything. And basically, I was paying, and there was other people in the group that weren't. And it had been going on for quite a long time. And I was cross. I was furious because not only was I not receiving what I'd been told I would receive, but I was paying for the privilege when others directly contacted me and said, we think there's something not quite right here. And I did. I pulled out of that because I never did say the real reason, because I felt that I would get too upset, and then I would say something that I would regret later. And this is what happens, isn't it? Sometimes we're not upfront. Sometimes we're not. We just don't want to face it. And it's exactly the same when we receive these surveys through. Everybody sends you surveys. It will only take you 2 or 3 minutes. And actually, if you're not happy with a service, spending another 2 or 3 minutes answering why you're not happy, quite often you just can't be bothered. So I do wonder about these surveys they send out. Are there people there that will go into the details about why they're not happy? I suspect that there's quite a high percentage where they just go, do you know what? I just don't want anything else to do with you. And I started analysing all the things that can go wrong. And basically, a lot of it comes down to expectations. And it can be on both sides. It can be that our expectation of a service that we think is going to be provided isn't. It can be that the timing is out. It can be that the results that you thought you were going to get, you don't get. Or like I say, our expectations are not in line with the client's expectations. It could be that the agreement that you've written actually wasn't clear enough. Now, what we do is we have an agreement, we write as much as we can on the invoice, the agreement, we have the whole thing going, and then we have an onboarding meeting and we record the onboarding meeting. And we send them the copy of the onboarding meeting, because much more comes out in the onboarding meeting, and we have to make sure that we have also quoted. So, when you get a plumber in or a decorator in, you get a decorator in and you say, if you could just decorate that part of the house, and then, oh, could you just add that? And then, oh, could you do that room as well? Oh, and so it's creepage, and more gets added to the job, which invariably you will get a bill for, but this happens with us as well. So we find with the onboarding meeting, there is a lot that comes out. There's more that gets added along the way. And we're at that point able to say, okay, we haven't quoted for this, we'll have to add it on and re-quote. There's also times where we have gone into the work, we've started the work, and they've then added more. And then again, we have to say, oh, hang on a minute, that's not quite in the job. We've veered off here. We need to add that to the bill. But there has been the rare occasion where we have had to refer back to the onboard meeting and say, look, I know you said that this is what you want, but actually we did discuss it in the onboarding meeting and say that that's not something that we would cover. And we have had to go back and say, please re-look at the onboarding recording and go through what we said, because your expectation of what you think you've got and our expectation of what we are delivering, or at the timing, with regard to the timing, is not in alignment. It is the case of lack of clarity causes confusion. And that's the problem, really. When we come to difficulties, when things start to go wrong, they tend to carry on. I don't know if you've found this, but certainly we do. We find that something does start, some little thing will start and you put it right. And then 2 or 3 other things start and you think, come on, and they follow. And all of a sudden, that job that was only going to take a week turns into a month. It was going to be a portion, a very small portion of your weekly tasks. And it snowballed into something that you actually don't seem to be able to rectify or overcome the problems. And however much you try and bail yourself out, I'm sure you've done this. We have. We've had times where we've just gone, oh, well, we'll add that on, or we'll do that, or we'll work throughout the night to get that deadline done because we didn't actually explain that we needed to put that in and that in. And we've tried our best to do absolutely everything we can. And actually what we should have just done is stop. We need to come together, sort this all out, and reevaluate where we are, because it just causes so much distrust and aggravation. And not only that, it's our minds. It gets into your mind. If there's a problem at work, or if there's a problem with a client, or if there's a problem in the household, you know, the many, many things we have to juggle with, it sort of eats in there, doesn't it? It sort of keeps picking away. The minute you stop, it starts again, and you're trying to analyze what's happening and why it hasn't worked and who on earth can we contact to help us. And it is pure frustration on many sides. And I guess what we should do is just say right at the very beginning, we need to stop and have a look at where we all are and realign ourselves with what's going on and see what we need to be doing. But if at the end of the day you agree that it's not going to work, then be prepared to walk away and say, you know, this doesn't work for me. We're not going to be able to meet your expectations, and we will have to let this one go. And it's very difficult because I'm not a confrontational person, and there are people that are very good at this. Absolutely, there are, but I'm not a confrontational person, and I really try to put things right. And like I say, it doesn't happen very often, but just often enough to go, do you know what, could I have done that better? And yeah, I think there have been a few times, but at the end of the day, we're not always told the full story. Now, a few weeks ago, I dipped out of social media. I dipped out of an awful lot of things. I literally had to stop everything. And there was only a handful of people that knew it was because I'd got a family health crisis going on. My son was desperately ill and was in hospital, and some of the girls did know in here, and they were wonderfully supportive. But I could not think of anything else other than what was going on at home. So that there was an area, shall we say, a few weeks where I just had to stop and pull away from the business and carry on with what we were doing on home life to try and get that sorted. Because there are priorities, and I think this is what we have to do. We have to prioritise what comes first and what is the most important to us, and then slowly and quietly let people know that we're just not going to be able to manage things. And strangely enough, it's one of those things, I've seen it time and time again, when something really drastic happens, you cope. And then when it all starts to get better, you sort of fall apart and you can't concentrate, you can't do anything. And I had a couple of days, a real wobbly couple of days, where I just couldn't do hardly anything. I could barely get out of bed, because it is that overcome, that bit where you react to your body sort of goes, it's all right, everything's okay, it's all going to be fine. And then all of a sudden your body says, well, actually, you need to now rest. And slowly I came back into the business. It took me a little while, But I think we have to give ourselves that time to be able to get over that juggling and sort ourselves out. So yes, clients do walk with their feet. They don't always tell you. They don't always tell you the right reason either. They will sometimes not be willing to tell you what's going on, just as I wasn't willing to tell the world what was happening inside our home life. And like I say, just a handful of people knew about it, but I certainly didn't tell everybody. And I just said, I'm not able to make things at the moment. So we've all done it, and it is the case of trying to fathom out and stop things before they get too bad. Anyway, that was my little talk tonight. It's going to be very quick tonight, and I hope you all have a lovely week. I hope you've got some value out of that, and if nothing else, it's a little bit thought-provoking. I am at the moment in the middle of my visibility, unlocking those hidden secrets of visibility at 5-day workshop. We're having so much fun. It's lovely. I actually had one of the attendees today. She was laughing so much, and the reason she was laughing was because, hi there, I don't know who you are. You haven't come up as your name. Thank you for joining me, whoever you are. But this particular lady started laughing. What we were doing was we were looking at her social worth, her social proof on Google, and she'd gone away. Oh, hi. She'd gone away overnight, and she came back in. She said, Jill, pop my name in to Google and see what you can find. And I started, and I was on page 2 and working my way down, and she was still coming up. And she'd gone away and done bits and pieces all over the place. And she said, I'm amazed. I have never looked myself up on Google before. And look, I'm everywhere. And she'd done such a fantastic job over time. I mean, she'd been tweaking overnight, but also she didn't realize that there was so many things that she could have that extra visibility with. And then she said, my children don't actually believe that I've done everything I have. I've shown them this. And I said, oh, but have you clicked on images? And she said, well, no, I don't know what you mean. And we were sharing the screen, and I clicked on images, and there were pages of her and her photos and her images. And there was one of her daughter as well. And she was just giggling because she said, I can't wait to show the children because they won't believe that I'm so famous. So that's another thing to remember, when it comes to visibility on social proofing, do go on to Google and type your name in, and then type the top tab, go to the top and type in images and see how many times your image comes up that's been gathered in there over the years. You might actually get a really good surprise. So Dawn, thank you very much for joining me this evening. That's lovely to see you. And I will say goodbye, good night, because it's 10 o'clock here, or rather it's going on towards 10:30. I hope you've got a little bit of value out of that. Any questions, do pop them in the comments below. Or if you don't want to pop them in the comments, private message me, please do. I'm always happy to answer any questions. And I shall see you same time, same place next week. Thanks a lot. Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.